All right, welcome back to Namic Media, National Awareness, Meaning, Intuitive Consciousness. Today we got a special guest, special guest from New York Life Insurance Company, an agent and a personal relative of mine. I give you Calvin. How are we doing today, sir?
Doing good. I'm doing good. How you doing, sir? How you doing, sir?
I'm blessed, man. I'm glad you made some time to come on to the show and talk some business to us. A lot of people may not know, but I'm gonna go ahead and let you fill in. Tell us a little bit about yourself, what you do. Go for it.
Well, I am a African American male, of course. What I actually do is I make sure that I working within the African American community. I want to help bridge the wealth gap with the African American community. You want to know why? Because
Why?
I've time in and time out where catastrophic events have happened to the African American community, and we can't bounce back or adapt as fast as the Caucasians can or any other race can. You want to know why? It's because of the wealth gap. It's things they've been hiding from us. It's things like they don't want us to know. So I took it upon myself. I have given up a six-figure, almost $200,000 job to educate the African American community, just to bridge the wealth gap and to stop the systematic racism and to make a true difference. That's exactly what I did. That's all I'm about. Thank you, sir.
Well spoken, sir. And a lot of you may know it, may not know the company, New York Life and Insurance Company. It covers a wide range of different things. And I was happy, life insurance, mutual funds, hedge funds, just to name a few on some of the services Calvin here that he offers. And also, like he said, he reaches out to us as far as the people and try to better our substantial situation as far as the wealth gap. So that's huge and big time. So moving forward, I'm gonna hear from you. How important? Obviously, I feel like it's been something I want to say within the last 10 years might have been spoken about in the Black home, far as the importance of financial literacy. Far as how do you start with an individual if they reach out and seeking for help? Meaning like, hey, Calvin, hey, I want to better myself, better my family situation. Here's what I got in my 401k, or maybe it's one of those things where there's a large sum of money somewhere and they want to invest it. How would you go about a typical person? And last but not least, age periods, as far as age groups, does it really matter based on where you start or how you finish? Talk a little bit about that.
Well, first things first, like when it comes to investing and making money, right?
Mm-hmm.
Time makes a difference. You know, I can show all type of different things. It shows that like if you start saving it from 15 to 20, how much of a difference does it make from 25 to 30? Time makes a difference. There's no better time except right now today to start investing and make a difference, because it's all about age. It's all about age, and it's always about interest. Because
Yes.
interest is only going to help you when it comes to time. Perfect example, right? I'm 30 and I invested $30,000. My brother, he's 37, he invested $30,000. We're on the same exact time schedule, right?
Mm-hmm.
But at 65, my money's gonna be worth a whole lot more than his is at 37 because he's behind. He's gonna have to invest almost twice the amount to catch up to what I'm doing to equal what I'm gonna have at 65 than what he's gonna have at 65. And that's only a 7-year difference. The problem is, with a lot of African Americans, they always feel like they got time. They got time. I'm blessed. God's got me. Jesus
We'll
got
get
me.
to it later. We'll get to it in a minute.
They always say they got time, but the time is now. If you don't execute on time now, I don't even know what like. It's just sad, If you don't execute on time now, you're going to cost yourself money on the long run, and that's just what ends up happening to a lot of African Americans. And I was just tired of it. Like I said, if anybody can go out and talk to these people, it's me. I'm going to make a difference in my own community.
Okay. Thank you for that. Now, as far as, since we were talking about a little bit there about age, out of your repertoire of customers and people that you might have spoken with, generational, are you seeing like a little bit 30s, 40s, 20s as far as your clients, or does it vary in a wide range? Who are you seeing mostly that's taking advantage? And also, due to COVID, are you seeing an increase situational things going on?
Yes, yes, yes. So I'm definitely seeing an increase of because of COVID, because more people, they're worried about their finances, they're more worried about their health. When it comes to young single people, I'm not seeing that big of an increase. But like, let's say it's a young person, they're married, they have kids. I'm seeing a big increase because they don't know what's going to come or what's not. Tomorrow's not promised to anyone. If God tells us it's our time, it's our time. But if it's our time and we have to leave our families, would you rather leave them with $0 or $1,000,000? Like,
Absolutely.
how would you feel? Letting let's say you have a daughter. How would you feel letting your daughter know, like, yes, I can't be there to raise you, to help you out, but I at least put something in place in thought of you, thinking about you. That way, that you like, if something bad was happening to me, you won't even have to worry about any finances. You won't have to worry about starting a business, because that's the difference between African Americans and whites. Let's just be all the way clear. Like, when it comes to wealth is handed down.
Yes.
Wealth is handed down. You want to know why they're so far ahead of us? Because they had land and they had things of that nature they can hand down. As Black people, we can't go back and change time. We cannot. Can't go back and change time and hand down land.
We definitely can learn from it, but we can't change it. But yes.
Exactly. So just think about it like this: for $30 for $30 a month for a 30-year-old, you can get $1,000,000. Think about it like this: a lot of times, Black kids, what ends up happening is, unfortunately, single mothers. You want to know why? Because the single fathers, they try to make an income for their kids. Maybe they might get killed or go to prison, and then it only ends up making things worse. But what I've been here and I've thought about is, like, what can I do to impact my community to stop this stuff? Like, okay, yes, maybe the husband has done some things he shouldn't be doing, or he might be in the streets, right? In the streets, which there's no such thing as in the streets. Like, if you have to make an income, you have to make an income. Black people don't bring in any drugs. They gave it to us to kill us. Let's be real about it. Like, we don't go to Colombia, we don't go to Mexico. Other races bring it in.
Back era, yeah.
Yeah, they bring it in to kill us and they arrest us for it. So let's be real about that. So I'm like, okay, I understand you're going to do what you're going to do, but let's put a policy or something in place to happen just in case something doesn't go your way. Because we all know if you're in the streets, there's only two ways out: death or prison. I can't really help you if you're in prison, but if you die, at least your family's going to be taken care of like they're supposed to be taken care of. And that's what a real man does for his real family.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And I was just, for all the viewers out there, I'm writing notes because, if you're not writing, you're not learning unless you got to just retain the information very well. But writing is always key. So you talked about a couple things there. First off, I commend you for doing what you do, being passionate about it, not just to get a quick buck. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things where I feel as if, you're passionate about something and you give it your all. I feel like the rewards will come 30,000 times bigger than what you can even imagine. So it's one of those things how we just talking and vibing out and, speaking amongst each other, but it's for the better good. Obviously I have kids, I'm well invested, but there's more things I always can learn. And one of the things that I've learned through just speaking with you is if you know what you can invest young, you'll be better off. You either work hard now or you're going to work hard later. And trust me, you got some 50-year-olds, 60-year-olds, working in these environments where they, probably should not be in this time frame, especially in the world of today that we live. However, if you have the tools and the tangibles to do so, then why not go for it? So let's talk about this for a little bit. So as small as what, far as, we don't got to go through everything in detail, but as little as, let's say, people go to Starbucks, people may go out to eat a few times out of the month. We are in California, so we're one of the highest tax, along with New York and a couple others that are up there. So I'm just thinking, is it a mental thing? I feel like we just either don't have the information, don't want to do it, or do we have the information, do it a little bit? Like you said, time, I'll get to it. But before you know it, you're starting to go gray hair and everyone's looking around. What are you supposed to do? So I'm looking at this more so jump on it quick. So with your clientels of people and COVID and things of that nature, I remember you having a reward for helping out the Black community. Talk a little bit about that on how you started and the momentum that was built where you're at now and how you got that award that, I was solely proud of you to get, you know what I'm saying?
Well, I got my award because, first of all, I'm in the Bay Area. If anybody doesn't know about the Bay Area, Black people are what, 20%, maybe less than that. But
Mm.
right now, to date, 100% of my clients are African American. So
Okay.
how you have to get that award? You have to serve at least 50 clients.
Mm.
50. Now, it'd be great. It'd be easy if I was born and raised in the Bay Area, right? You know, I went to school, I went to high school, blah, 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 blah. But I didn't. Like, I'm from Phoenix, Arizona. I lived in Oklahoma City. I lived in Dallas. I've been in the Bay Area it'll be 3 years in January. So,
Mm-hmm.
like, I took a stance to serve nothing but African Americans.
Mm.
So how that went about was first of all I called my initial market, because like I'm not gonna just move anywhere I don't know anybody, but I called my initial market, and I told them what I was doing, and I harped on them what I was doing, because let's be honest. Now I was reading a statistic where it said Caucasians uh, leave their families 400, write that down, 400% more than African Americans. That's a crazy figure to me. 400%.
Not even in the game. 400% is a huge markup. But go ahead. I'm sorry. Mm-hmm.
Huge. So this case, like, if anybody's not hearing me, so that means for every dollar a Black person is going to leave for their kids, the white person is going to leave them $400 more.
Mm.
Yeah, and it's like these are tools that, like, we should be taking advantage of, but we're not. But mainly because, like, there's nobody out there giving the information, right? I get on calls every morning, right? There's about anywhere from 40 to 90 people, 40 to 90 people. It just depends on which morning it is, who's actually going to jump on the call.
Mm-hmm.
But I can tell you this: I'm the only African American,
Mm.
especially here in the Bay Area, the only one, and that means a lot to me. That means, like, I have a duty to help my community, because if I'm one out of 90,
Mm.
1 out of 90, that means there's a lot of people not out there at least hearing the information.
Only
Now,
that means you got to bring your A game too, man. Mm.
I'm always going to be my A game because like I understand the Black culture. Like, I'm Black, I understand it. Like, a lot of times, like, we don't trust the banks. I know we don't trust the banks. We don't trust finances. We don't trust none of that stuff. It takes a lot to build trust within the Black community. But I have a strong passion when I see and I know that I've helped out a single mother with 3 kids get a $700,000 policy, because I know, like, if something does happen to her, God willing, I hope nothing ever does happen to her. But if something does happen to her kids don't have to go to Section 8. Her kids don't have to worry or wonder. Yes, of course, her kids are going to mourn, right? But you know what's not going to happen? When the rent comes the next month, they're not going to have to move out. If they own
Mm.
a house, they're not going to have to sell. If they need daycare, that's going to be provided for them. We also do things like paying for. I also do things like investing for kids' schools. That's one of my biggest things. No matter what, if I talk to anybody with kids, I'm telling them about the Cloverdale accounts, the 529 accounts. I'm telling them the plus and minuses of each account, because I want to see more of my Black kids go to school. Because let's be real, schooling, it can get you somewhere, but at least here in the Bay Area, it raises the next level. At least
Mm.
here in other parts of America, you might not need a degree, but we're in the Bay Area. Those degrees mean a lot. So I'm all about helping my community save for school for the kids, because not everybody's going to be a scholar, and they need to know the tax benefits, and they need to know the tax benefits is what's going to happen if they have a 529 account. 529 accounts, I don't know if anybody knows about them, but you can only use them for school. So let's say your kid gets a full ride, right? You've been saving all this money in your 529 account for the whole entire time of the school, and he gets a full ride. You can't use that money without a 40% tax. Right? You've been saving from 0 to 18. You end up having $200,000. He gets a full ride.
Whew.
Woo, right?
40% is heavy.
So I'm here to educate them on letting them know like there's other options to put in place of those.
And you know, options. That's perfect options, man. And then I feel as if everybody's in a different situation in life, right? So you might have the bright go-getter that's 18 years old and just did a ton of research, real punctual, tight with his money, and he's figured it out. Maybe he's met you, maybe he's followed your footsteps, maybe they've heard this video to get interest and they run at it. But far as options, you have far as a portfolio of different funds and different things you can, go into. Now, if I'm a, older person, younger person, how do you find an angle to figure out, okay, what works best for you? Because sometimes I feel like us as people, we may have a good intent, but we may not do our homework or research. So therefore, we kind of, I don't want to use the word embarrass, but we may not be as confident. And sometimes, such as yourself, when you work with, like you said, African American community, us. What is your approach based on different age groups or just individuals trying to find something for their family? Like you said, you don't want to leave and, you die. Who's going to pay for the funeral? Who's going to, pay for the rent, pay for everything else that involves that once you leave dead and gone? How do you find that niche far as, a person comes in and meet with you and say, hey, I don't know what I'm doing. I just want to leave something for my kids. How would you approach that individual far as, people that come to you as your clients?
Yeah. So what I have is I have a very thorough process.
Hmm.
How it works is I have calculators and things of that nature involved. So what we do is we go through a series of steps. I'm not going to go through all of them, but first of all, we think about, okay, how old are you? They might be 30. Perfect. How old are your kids? Okay, you have a kids, two, 15, 16. So we got to ask them like, okay, so your kids too, does your wife work or does your spouse work, right? Who's the breadwinner of the family?
Yeah.
Once we figure out who the breadwinner of the family is, we figure out like, so if something wants to happen to you, right, you're the breadwinner, what's going to happen to the family? How are they going to replace your income?
Mm.
I don't know. I don't know. Exactly. So how much does your spouse make? Oh, well, my spouse makes $100,000, right? Do you
Mm-hmm.
plan on going to work? No, I do not. Okay. So your youngest daughter is 2. So that means you're going to have to provide for her in average America for 16 years. In the Bay Area, you might as well put 25 years on. So, from 25, that's 23 years. So you're saying, of course, sir, you make, $100,000 a year. You're going to have to, pay for this child to the
Mm-hmm.
25. So 100,000 times 23, and that's 2.3 million. We can start our figures like that. Okay, and then we also go into things like how much debt do you have?
Mm.
At $50,000 in debt. We got to subtract that because, as anybody knows, as soon as you pass away, the debt collectors, they're calling your house first, right?
Mm.
You also have to, think about, were you planning on sending these kids to college? You got to think about stuff like that. So
Yes.
I can't say there's a fine figure for everyone, but I have tools in place to make sure I can figure out the exact figure for everyone. Because me, I'm single male, I have a roommate. So if something was to happen to me, right, I would feel bad. I would at least make sure I paid my portion of the rent until, our lease was over. Does that make sense?
That makes 100%.
Like,
So
like if somebody else was, they just purchased a 30-year loan and they're 2 years in it, they're gonna need my money for 28 years.
mm, okay, very very well said. Obviously we're in different times, far as the COVID situations, and you know, blessings to those all essential workers that are all still out there. You know, possibly could get it. You're working, you every day out there, including myself. I'm still on the working field, even though I have a program that I'm trying to push and promote. Namic media to all the black and brown people out there. So and it's for everybody really. It's whoever wants to be on board. It's no closed gates. However, the economy is taking a hit, right? And it's taking a big hit. I've asked people in different age groups, older than I, they've never seen anything like this. So, as the economy shifts, as far as more distance, social distancing, and all this good stuff, do you see us turning back anytime soon? Because if you ask me, I don't see it, just because I feel like there's so much structure and how can I say, there's so much efforts into doing things. As far as when you go to public areas, you got plexiglass all over the place, you got signage, you got different avenues of this thing, and some people have theories on it, and some people are off about it. They just want to protect themselves and be okay. But far as a humanity standpoint, far as how we associate with one another, I know that's taken a hit very hard. And unfortunately, that's where we're at. But with the economy, do you see it shifting anytime soon? And as far as in your market, the New York Life Insurance Company, being an agent for those guys, is this really to you guys' advantage? Because of obviously the COVID causes deaths. People don't want to leave empty-handed. So I'm just trying to see, like, do you see the economy changing anytime soon? And does that really bring a big impact on you guys as far as sales and, leads and things of that nature?
I would say that the economy is needs to be steady and ready for a change,
Hmm.
because change is going to happen. But as when it comes to how we are right now with the mask and everything like that, it's going to be like this probably till, I would say, July next year. Our president, God bless his soul, hopefully he gets better. He's saying, it'll be here in a matter of weeks. Shit, he has already unfortunately. But what I would say is, of course, more people are thinking about more and more of their finances. That's just naturally what happens. I was looking at a statistic earlier today, and it was like, what are the 5 fields that are capable of actually, like, doing better business, accelerating their goals from the previous year to this year, right? And one was financial advisors,
Mm.
another was food industries. Um, I can't remember that. I wish I had. I would pull it up. Actually, give me one second. I'll pull it up for a second.
Sure, sure. And then while you're pulling that up, yeah, cause I was just, I followed the stock market. They were just saying some of these companies, like the ones that were leading the pack for so long, it's going to be a big change and shift, because there's a lot more obviously change in the course of how we do things in life. You got the big Amazon that's being a juggernaut in the industry here, making purchases all over the place, along with Whole Foods and, a lot of the other. Actually, I want to say they're building the Amazon Center near where I'm at out here, not too far. So they're gonna have a fulfillment center. So they're popping all over the place. But yeah.
All right. So here we go. I got to pull back up. So it's 9 businesses that thrive during recessions. Because whether you want to believe it or not, we're in a recession, right?
Big one.
They're not sure what's going to happen and what's not going to happen. That's basically a recession, right? So 9 businesses that thrive during recession. If anybody wants to take notes, they want to get into a new field, these are the fields they should get into: accountants, healthcare providers, financial advisors, and economists. Auto repair and auto maintenance, because people are going to always need to, like, go to work and stuff like that.
Or with your hands. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, right. Home maintenance stores, so like what you do, Home Depot.
Not Depot, but Lowe's. But go ahead. I did those guys too, though.
Home stagnant experts, rental agents, and property management companies. Of course, grocery stores and bargain and discount stores.
So that's what they're saying. The up and coming and the rising of the businesses that's going to be expected to catapult.
Yes.
Okay.
Because, let's be real. African Americans love spending $200, $300 on Jordans, which actually add no value to their lives. But
unfortunately, I was part of that too. But I feel like that's a phase too. Let's talk about that for a second. Like, people just spending money. Listen, guys, if people are spending money on fashion or materialistic things, you are totally in the wrong game, because at the end of the day, it's about your percentage on your return. So, I understand it. I get it. I was young, a kid, far as, I'm 36 now, but I'm just saying when I was 18, 20, it was one of those things where I kept splurging and buying stuff. But we're at a point now where we got to invest. And then, like, to your point, $200 can go a long ways, especially, they're going to return and buy more into, a different fund.
Exactly. I mean, if it was up to me, like if I could, I would walk into a Foot Locker, seeing somebody buy some Jordans and slap them out their hands and be like, it was up to me, but I can't do that because like I just can't. But I just think about that every time I go see somebody. I see a whole bunch of African Americans waiting in line for the brand new Jordans that cost $400. I'm like, so are you planning on selling those? How are they gonna like? If you're not planning on selling those, just planning on wearing those. Those are a waste of your investment. I have three friends right now.
Uh-huh.
Three friends right now that are multi-billionaires. No,
Mm.
not billionaires, but multi-millionaires. That you want to know their favorite shoe?
What is it?
Skechers.
Woo, with the S.
You don't know why? Because they're $39.99. They keep
Mm.
your feet soft. They don't wear out. And if you do, all it takes is $39.99 to replace them. That's still less than the average price.
Boom.
Air Force.
Hey,
I was Air Force. I would just had on Air Force today. They're $90 no matter what. Anywhere you go, they're $90.
hey, I feel you. I got Converse. I'm old school. I rock the Chuck Taylors, man. And then, when I want to get suited and booted, I go to my favorite store. I ain't ashamed to say it. I go to Ross. I go to Birds and Co. Factory and Ross. At the end of the day, you're going to wear the stuff over and over. Go ahead.
Berlin Decor Factory, that's the store. I
Oh,
agree.
yep. So, we could talk about a lot of different funds and different things and increments, but I want you to tell the audience where they could find you, as far as if you got like email, Instagram, any of those good things, where they can find you at. And then, hopefully we can have more episodes on financial literacy and educate the minds of the Black people, the Black and brown people of the world. And, we go from there.
Yes, I do. That's my whole entire passion. Is educating the African American community, brown. Um, don't get me twisted. I'm still gonna take my white clients. Like I'm gonna get that white money. You know what
Oh
I'm saying?
yeah, absolutely. And like I said, they gonna mess with you just because of your expertise and your talent on what you have. Because at the end of the day, when you go get Chinese food, are you really caring who's cooking it? You just like Chinese food, so you going to the good Chinese spot where they got it good at. And that's the way I feel like a civilization of us as people, we have to amount to get there. We got to have a good product, right? We got to push the product, and then once we have the product push, I feel everybody else will fall in line because the authenticness of the product will bring those people to you. So, but tell everybody where they can find you at, and they can look you up.
My business phone number is 510-680-0182. And then anybody at all the time can either email me at two addresses. It's calvin.dillahunty, and that's DILLAHUNTY at Gmail. Or this is a little bit simpler, B like Bravo, Dillahunty, DILLAHUNTY at NYL. That's a Yankee, or no. Yeah, Yankee, no. November Yankee Lima.com. So basically NewYorkLife.com.
Beautiful, beautiful. All right. I appreciate you, man, for being on. Again, you guys heard it best. New York Life Insurance agent Calvin Dillahunty signing off, and stay tuned.
Thank you, sir. It's glad to be on here.
Peace.